everybody. Welcome to Death by Podcast, episode 94, the best and greatest horror movie podcast and so much more on the internet or all the apps, wherever that is. I'm your host, Adam. That's your other host,
Kevin.
And folks, if this is your first time, if it's your last time, listen to the show. You tuned in for a good one. This is our season 3 finale award show, best of, worst of, the Wood Awards, the Julians, whatever you want to call them. we're gonna settle on a name. And yeah, we've got 11 categories, Kevin, and they're kind of like the Oscars. I think the Oscars can do up to 11, right, or 12.
I think it's way more.
Is it more?
I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea.
I don't know what it is. Oh, that's for Best Picture. They can do like 11 of them.
Oh, they can have up to 10 nominees.
10 nominees. That's insane. Anyway, these are categories. We've got 11 categories, but we also had an extra 6 categories that 2 of which were chosen by our patrons on Patreon. And we just did that. We recorded BoobTube TV and we went through those. So if you want more of this madness, check us out on Patreon. It's the best way to support the podcast other than sharing it. It's patreon.com/deathbypodcast. And that's where our bonus mini podcast, BoobTube TV, is. Congrats. I'm going to say I want to give them public recognition. Congrats to patron Katie and our new patron. What was the name again? Flutiana. Last week I said I was going to do a giveaway for a custom resin chud baby that I made and painted. And Katie is a longtime supporter on Patreon, so she was the winner there. And then I said anybody that joined new is going to win one. And that was Flutiana. So thank you so much for joining and supporting the Patreon. And they also got to contribute a category each. And that was Katie's was the movie that we most disagreed upon with. Mm-hmm. And then and we talked about that on Patreon. And then Flutiana's was the Fuck That Guy Award. So who qualified for that? Find out on Patreon. So thank you guys for those. That was awesome. There's a few other categories that we went through, but right here on the main show, we've got 11 to go through. But before we get to that, Kevin, how was your Halloween?
Halloween was cool, man, except for all the snow,
Crazy.
But yeah, the snow was nuts, it was on and off, and it was, but it was cool. I had a shitload of trick-or-treaters. I set up in my garage.
Wait, you slept in your garage?
No, I set everything up. Like I put a big thing in the garage and had the kid. I had the candy out, and in hindsight, I probably should have just stayed in because I froze my ass off.
Yeah.
And then, but it was fun. It was it was
just
good.
By yourself. You were sitting out there.
Yeah, one of my kids were out here. They're handing out candy too, and yeah, it was crazy cold. But we had a ton of trick or treaters. The best costume I saw.
Yeah, what you got?
Some kid was Ricky Vaughn from Major League.
Oh wow, that's old school, man.
Yeah, it was awesome.
You got to give credit to that dad, whoever that is.
Yeah, I mean, he had the jersey. He didn't have the glasses or a hat, to be honest. But I don't know. That's he's probably where he's going to get canceled if he wears, an 89 Indians hat. But whatever.
Whatever, dude. You can wear the hat, right?
He just had the jersey, and I was like, nice.
Yeah,
Vaughn. Yeah,
it
made me be like, I gotta get that jersey.
Yeah. What did you dress up? What did you dress up as?
I dressed up as not on actual Halloween. I didn't. But on the party, I have dressed up as Captain Spaulding.
Yeah.
From.
Did you get a picture?
Yeah. There's a bunch of pictures.
I think we should put that on Patreon.
Yeah.
Why don't you share that with me so we can see that?
Sure. I put the bald wig on wrong, so it didn't look great. It looked like it was gonna fall off all night, but
you put the bald wig on wrong. How does that work?
There's like a goo, there's a goo to make it stick to your head, and then
why am I dripping this goo?
And then there's another goo to blend it in with your skin. And I was like, and I did that, but it was like, I don't think I either did enough or I didn't do it right or whatever. But that part, it did. And it's not, I didn't blend my skin. It just didn't, it's supposed to make it look like one, one layer.
Seamless.
Yeah. And yeah, I messed that part up.
I can't imagine you. I feel like you as Captain Spaulding would be fucking terrifying.
Well, and then I was mad because I went. I think I mentioned last week that I went to Fantasy Costume in the city.
Yep.
Awesome place,
Yeah.
but and still awesome place. This is probably my fault. But I got all the makeup on.
Yeah.
And then I go to do, Kevin Spaulding has black eyes,
Okay.
and I had black lipstick already, and no black eyes, like no
You talking
black
about
makeup
around the eye?
around the eye, yeah, like a
Okay.
Joker eyes, right?
Right. Right.
No black, and I was like, I can't. That's. I mean, that he's got three colors on him. You know what I mean? Like,
Black, blue, and red, or white.
yeah, he's got a little bit of red, which I didn't do,
Right.
but so I called my buddy because I live down the street from a Spirit. I'm like, you got to get me black makeup.
Dude, you live with a wife. Does she not have any kind of
Well,
black
the people had already
makeup?
no.
What? What about the nights that
not
she goes
not
out
like
gothing?
face makeup. I went through all of her stuff. I mean, no. I mean, what is she like, a goth? Like, was she like a witch in her spare time? Who wears black makeup?
I don't know, man. They do the eye stuff. What is that? What is that called?
That's it. I had lipstick. I had bought black lipstick to do
Yeah.
the lips, and I tried to do that. I tried to do that in my eyes.
Yeah.
Doesn't work. It's
No?
like, well, I don't know anything about makeup, so like, yeah, I learned that the hard
That's
way.
so good, dude. That's awesome. Well, hey, you get a A for effort, man.
Yeah, yeah.
That's awesome.
Uh-oh.
I didn't dress up myself, but I dressed Egum up, and as I got him a what you call your SpongeBob costume, and it worked when I bought it. When I put it on him, it just fell off immediately. So I like strapped it to him along with a hot dog costume and a shark costume. So he was Shark Bob Hot Dog Pants, I think was the name.
Okay.
So took him around trick or treating, all the places that give out treats, and then it started dumping snow. So that was Halloween. Yeah.
Cool.
I did buy some candy and almost got diabetes, so whatever. But it was good, man. It's Halloween. I watched a bunch of stuff. Did you watch anything?
Um, it's on a bunch of Frasier, obviously. Watch something that took me all night to watch, and I've actually been kind of looking forward to it because I'm really curious about it.
Uh-huh.
And it took all night to watch because I got kids, and so it's this. I was under the impression that it was a full documentary. It's not. It's 12 minutes. It's this new Beatles thing.
Jesus Christ with the Beatles.
Well, like, here's the thing. They put out trailers for this like documentary, and it's basically about, there's a song, it's called Now and Then, the last Beatles song, and essentially it's in the trailer. They're like, oh, we have music that John wrote and played, but we were never able to isolate it because of the technology, and now we can. And when we also have George, like, we got him together in the 90s and he tried to play on it, but we still couldn't isolate the audio right, and now we can't, like, because of all the Peter Jackson stuff.
Yeah.
And that's all in the 2-minute trailer. And then I threw it, so it's on Disney Plus, it's on YouTube. Put it on. This thing's 12 minutes long. It took me all night because I had to keep starting and stopping it, but it's 12 minutes. That's the whole thing.
Yeah,
like what I just said.
Yeah.
I was a little annoyed. I'm like, oh, there's nothing more to this, and then they just whatever. And then at the end, it was like one of those things where it's like a movie. It was like the new Spider-Verse, where you're like, are they gonna wrap this up? Like, there's like how long is this song gonna be? There's like 2 minutes left in this thing. At the end of it, they don't play the song.
It's weird.
And then
because all that you got to get the rights for all that stuff. It's
no, but then well, the song doesn't come out until I think it's released on the 3rd.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I would have just heard the song and you could have said, yeah, we did it with AI. Like, I mean, fine. I didn't need to watch the 15-minute documentary on. Yeah, I was a bit annoyed.
Yeah, that sounds insane. I have no idea about anything you just said. I don't even know what you just said right now. Beatles.
Yeah, but it also sounds like, but all the voiceover sounds like, it doesn't sound legit. Like, it sounds like whoever it was, Disney or Apple, whoever it was, went to Ringo and was like, read these 4 sentences and we're gonna chop it up and make this thing that we made into a bigger deal than it is. But I don't know, maybe.
Yeah. I'm fun.
Cynical though.
That's fun.
Yeah, you're not a Beatles guy, huh?
No, not at all. My dad's a huge Beatles fan. But
So is everyone else.
uh,
You're the, you're
especially
the
on
only one.
Halloween, I don't do the Beatles. What I do on Halloween is, dude, I watched. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Um, Along with watching Halloween, the first movie, like 17 times. I watched Nightmare Before Christmas for the first time and since it came out. I can't believe that thing's 1993. It's like 30 years old.
Yep.
And are you a fan of that movie?
I like it a lot. I saw it in theaters. It was this makes me think of my mom because my mom took me to she never took me to movies. She hates movies.
Okay.
And she
That's
took me to
weird.
see that one
Yeah.
and she hated it so much. And it was like, man, like you hate regular movies.
Yeah.
I should say you hate all movies, but most movies. If a movie is weird in the least, she's like, I don't like this. And
Yeah.
that's like at the time that was the weirdest movie that and she was just like, I don't know what this is. This is was just disgusted with it.
That's bizarre. It's a bizarre
Yeah.
take.
But I've always liked it. I feel like it's kind of like I don't know. Yeah, it's great. It's great. It's great.
I wonder though. I think there's a lot going on with like maybe nostalgia or just the marketing of it. Like the marketing is huge and still
Well,
relevant today.
I think aesthetically it looks very cool.
Yeah.
You know,
But as a movie, it ends very abruptly. It's a very strange dichotomy between Halloween and Christmas. And
Mhm.
I wouldn't recommend anyone watching it like before Halloween if you haven't seen it or whatever. And watching it on Halloween with all the Christmas stuff, I was like, what's happening right now? Like it messed with my head. So the music is great. Christopher Sarandon is awesome, although you can't tell because all the songs are sung by Danny Elfman. So it's like, where does Christopher Sarandon end and Danny Elfman begin?
I didn't know that Danny Elfman sang all the songs. The
Yeah,
songs are all bangers. All the songs are good.
they're great. I think Danny Elfman should have just voiced Jack 100%. As much as I love Christopher Sarandon, it's just weird because I don't think Christopher Sarandon did much in it because
I
there's a
don't know.
lot, most of it's singing. But it's great. It's weird because he was coming off of it was like Pee Wee, Beetlejuice, Batman Returns, and then this.
Mhm.
And I don't know. It's just a weird thing, man. It's just a weird thing.
Well, I wonder how much because he wrote it. I mean, and I know he didn't direct it, but that's because it's stop motion. You know,
Right.
I think
Henry
you have to
Selick
get
directed.
yeah, you have to get a stop motion director for it.
Right.
You know, and I wonder how involved he. I mean, I know he designed everybody. You know, all the
It's
characters
like a
and
lot of him. He
oh, it's
produced
him
it,
for
wrote
sure.
it,
I'm sure he
all
had
that
his
stuff.
hand all over it, but
Right.
he yeah, I'm with you that I almost never finish it. I almost always lose interest in it. You
Yeah.
know,
I started feeling that.
um, I don't know. I wonder if it's kind of like the Sublime or the Dave Matthews of movies, where it's like, and those are two bands I really really love, man.
Uh-huh.
But I understand that like the fans kind of ruin it, like the Rick and Morty thing, where it's
Sure.
like, the show is great, but like the fans kind of and like people that are into that movie are really into that movie,
Yeah, they
and
are.
it's like,
They
all
are.
right,
I think it's a lot of like
I get it.
super goths and stuff like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows? Nothing wrong with
I mean,
them. That's great.
but you know what? It's I love watching the behind the scenes stuff and like
Sure.
that stuff is great for that movie. And there's a ton of it.
And it makes me want to draw when I would look at it. It's a lot of really cool imagery. Pee Wee's in it. Pee Wee does a voice. It's pretty cool. He does the
Oh yeah, he does. He does the
Little
little
kid.
kid, right?
Lock, stock,
The
and
devil kid.
barrel. Yeah, the devil kid. Yeah. So it was fine, whatever. But the thing I watched that was crazy, dude. Last night I watched the new just came out, Hell House LLC 4. Have you
Okay.
ever seen have you ever seen
Yeah.
Hell House?
No, I watched the wrong Hell House, remember, and I've never gone back and watched.
Okay. So it's a great series. 1 and 2 are great movies. 3 is fine. It's good. But this is the best of the bunch.
Really?
It's terrifying. Like I wanted to turn it off. Like I had the controller in my hand probably 7 times where it was getting to be too much. And I'm talking
Wow.
about, I don't like the Terrifier series and stuff like that. It's not because those are scary. It's just because they're gratuitously gross.
Sure.
This movie is legitimately scary. Like I was sweating. I know everybody has different levels of what scares them. This is like a found footage series, So if that's your thing, then this is going to be your thing. It's on Shudder. Shudder doesn't sponsor us, but they should. So if you're listening, reach out. But yeah, you got to check it out. I really want to know what you think about it. I'm not going to say anything else other than
Do I have to watch the first three
nope,
to?
nope.
No.
But they're worth watching. But I would rather you watch this one because they all tie together. But this one you can watch and just like enjoy it as a scary movie. It's man,
There's no lore or anything that I need to know. Like, there's nobody that shows up where I'm like, if I don't know who that is, I'm gonna be
no,
lost.
there is lore that they tie back, but you don't need it to enjoy the story at all. They did a really good job of being like, here's a movie, just enjoy it. So
I'll check it out. For
I'm
sure.
really curious what you think because it messed with me, man. I was like, I made it through. It took a couple times to pause it and then watch like some My Little Pony or Gummy Bears in between and then come back to it. So, but check it out. That's all I got on what you watch. I wanted to mention some since we did the giveaway on my Chud Baby toys. I bought myself a birthday present. Birthday was last week. I bought myself this guy.
That's awesome.
It's
Is that wait?
yeah,
Is
yeah.
that,
Go ahead. I'll see if you can get it. So it's a Friday. It's Jason Voorhees NECA Ultimates.
can I see his back?
Yep, I know that's
Yeah. Is that 6?
no, but you're
No,
close.
no,
It's
no.
a
Wait,
six,
wait, 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 wait. It's 7.
seven.
Yeah,
Yep.
I was gonna guess 7 because it's your favorite, but
It's Kane Hodder NECA Ultimates, and it's cool because I wanted a Jason Takes Manhattan Ultimates, but they haven't made one yet.
yeah,
So this is as good as you get, in my opinion. It's Zombie Jason and it's Kane Hodder, and it's just cool.
does the mask come off?
Oh yeah, it's even got like, it's the zombie face.
Yeah, that one and 4, he looks great. That one he probably looks the best with his mask off.
This one also comes with a separate head and a separate mask that splits. When it's split when she
Oh, cool. Yeah, from
crushes it.
the telekinesis.
Right. And I love that it's got in number 6, Tommy drowns him with the chain around his neck. So
Yeah.
it's got the chain here when he
Yeah.
comes up. So it's
Well, he at the beginning of this one, he's under there and
Yeah.
she wakes him up. Yeah.
it's cool they included that because it's like it's an accessory to the story.
Yeah, it's a great figure.
Comes with like the weed eater that he like fucks somebody up with and all kinds of shit. It's a cool figure. And then shout out to my friend Jason Miller, the Plastic Geek on Instagram. Sent me a Spirit
Egon?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Spirit Egon that he made. I'll post some better pictures of it. He sent that to me. They didn't, it's amazing. It fits perfectly in with the vintage line, the real Ghostbusters.
It looks better than the one they put out.
Yeah, it's great, man.
That was a real that toy was a real piece of shit. And they put it out like the day after. It was a little, I don't know, it was a little weird.
Yeah. And then another shout out to Luke Welch Sculptures. Got myself a couple little of his new Jason.
Oh, those are great.
Voorhees.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of them is Jason from number 7, but they're tiny sculpted things where he's got the person in the sleeping bag that he's going to smash.
Yeah.
And then Jason Takes Manhattan and he's got the boom box that he's kicking.
He's kicking the boombox. It's great.
So good. I'll post pictures of those on Patreon. And that's all I got, I think, aside from, is that everything? Do you have any news? Nothing?
No, not really. Nothing.
Thanksgiving. I'm excited.
Yeah,
for that.
Thanksgiving got a rating. Surprises rated R. It's from Eli Roth, and like, of course it did. I don't know why that's even news.
Right.
But yeah, I mean that comes out, I think next week or 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see it. Like, I might go to the theaters that one if I can. Like,
Looks great.
I'm pumped, man.
I really
But-
hope that it sticks.
But you don't like Eli Roth.
He's overrated.
I think
He's
crazy.
he's a shock director. He's not a talented director.
I don't know. I really like his stuff.
Yeah, but people like it
Really.
because it's shocking. Like, think about all his movies. It's just shock. I'm not saying like he's
I think
bad,
Hostle's a legitimate good movie.
really.
Like Hostel is. I mean, yeah, it's shocking
It's
when
garbage.
it needs to be, but I think Hostel is like you're in, like you're strapped in, you're in, you feel for these guys, and they do a really great job of like the first of really making you care about these two before they start torturing them.
Yeah.
It's I love Eli Roth.
This will
That
be
might
his this will be his first movie that he has created, hopefully, like a character to get behind. So
I disagree. I think
this
I
killer-
think he's a fine director. I don't love everything he's done. I didn't like Death Wish, but
oh, that was trash.
he I'm a fan of Eli Roth. I like his stuff.
When has he ever created a character that has stuck into the zeitgeist?
Oh, you mean like a? I mean, you mean like an actual like a Freddy or Jason? I mean,
Well,
he
good or
hasn't done anything
bad,
like
evil
that.
or bad, like whatever they end up calling this Thanksgiving killer, he looks awesome. I hope
Sure.
that he sticks in. I hope he becomes how cool would it be if we got a new slasher out of this, franchise, like
Be
and
great.
franchised
Yeah.
it.
I mean, he knows his shit. I'm a big fan. Have you ever watched the Eli Roth History of Horror thing?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I like that, but you don't. I'm surprised you do, because it's
I
just like,
do. I
remember this,
do.
remember this.
Yeah, I'm real picky with my documentaries, but yeah, like that
Yeah,
one. If I like the people in it, it goes a long way.
yeah. It's a good show. It's a good series, but it
Mhm.
doesn't really have a lot to do with him. I do like him though because he bought one of my Killbots from Shopping Mall
Oh
from
yeah,
yeah, and gave it to Quentin Tarantino.
that's awesome. That's great.
Yeah. So I don't dislike him. I just think he's overrated. All right, man. We got 11 categories. You want to get into this?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, dude. I'm excited. This is the best of worst of season 3 finale award show, Death by Podcast, you're listening to. And again, we did 6 other categories on our Patreon if you're interested for more when you're done with this. But first up, we're gonna do it like they do. Best good guy in one of the movies. And to be clear, what do we want to clarify? We're doing our alphabet movies.
Yeah, yeah.
So only the vintage movies qualify. And was there another? I think that was about it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So best good guy in any of our movies that we watched. What do you got?
I mean, I did some like, like nominations as well, and like,
Yeah,
whatever.
please do.
I mean, but I have my picks were Elijah Wood in The Good Son,
Nice.
Ash from Evil Dead. I mean, he's iconic. David Carradine's character in Q the Winged Serpent was
Yeah.
pretty great.
Fuck.
But
I forgot about that. Damn. That's
but
good.
my favorite, who are your nominees? You got
All right. So I tried to stick with of the movies of the 26 movies. I wanted to do, if I could, I wanted to do the one like focus on the ones that I hadn't seen.
Mhm.
Because Ash, I agree, but for me, that's just too yes, like he
Sure.
would win everything. So I went with
It's also not classic. It's Evil Dead 1 Ash. It's not Evil Dead 2
yeah,
Ash, which
totally.
is
You're right. Like
you know,
Army of Darkness Ash would kick everyone's ass.
right.
So I went with Michael McKean, Clue. Michael McKean am I saying that right?
Sure. Yeah, Mr. Green.
Yeah, only because at the end of that movie, when he reveals in one of the possibilities, he
Yeah.
reveals himself, and he just has that great line where he's like, "And now I'm gonna go home
Go
and
home and sleep with my wife.
sleep with my wife." I just like he's a hero in that moment. It was awesome.
Okay.
The Cyclops from Krull,
It's not crazy.
because he dies saving everybody. Detective Bill from Street Trash, and
Detective Bill.
Catherine Mary Stewart from Night of the Comet.
Oh, it's funny. With her from Night of the Comet. I went with Chicote, man. I went with yeah.
Was that your winner?
Yeah, that was my winner for sure.
Really?
He was awesome. Yeah, he was the best. He was awesome.
Really? Okay, that's
And
interesting.
we can give it to both of them. We can give it to the
Well, I was gonna my winner though is Detective Bill from Street Trash. Man, that guy is hardcore. He beats a dude's ass and then gags himself and barfs on the guy's head.
Yeah, he
You know what I'm
does.
saying? Like,
Then he gets killed by a homeless guy and gets his femur taken out.
yeah, right. And
And
that's a great
made into
two
a
great
knife.
fights back to back.
Yeah. He was great. I mean, he was good. I forgot about Detective Phil. I go either way. I mean, I love Chicote, but
I'll give you Chicote in this. We'll go that route.
Detective Bill's pretty cool, actually.
Detective
I mean,
Bill
you
is
throw
awesome.
up on that guy.
If you want to meet in the middle with Catherine Mary Stewart, I don't know.
I'll take Chicote. Fuck it.
Yeah.
I'll take the
All
one.
right. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you haven't seen Street Trash, guys, check it out. More on that to come. Next one is the best bad guy. You want my nominations?
Yeah.
Michael Keaton from Pacific Heights.
Okay.
Bronson from Street Trash. He's the homeless guy
Mm-hmm.
you were just talking about. Dick Rude, who plays Duke in what's it called? Repo Man. His
Yeah.
friend who's a dickhead.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't not nominate my boy Warwick Davis from Leprechaun.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I also had I was pretty close.
Yeah.
I had Keaton, I had Leprechaun, I had Dr. Giggles, and I had Macaulay Culkin from Good Son.
Yeah,
But
he's a good villain. But who'd you pick?
who I didn't actually on that one. I didn't actually pick a winner. I was like,
Really?
yeah, because Dr. Giggles I just kind of threw in there, and then I just didn't mark Macaulay Culkin. I think if I had to pick one of those, I would pick Macaulay Culkin, because like for my picks, it's between Keaton and Macaulay Culkin, and it's like I think Macaulay Culkin is more evil, like where you know what I mean, like. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's close, but who was your? You had a real good one at the beginning that I totally forgot about.
So I said you what my nominations?
Yeah.
It was Keaton, Bronson from Street Trash,
Oh, Bronson. I forgot
uh,
about Bronson.
Duke from Repo
Man.
Man, and then Leprechaun. But my winner is Michael Keaton.
Yeah. I mean, I give it to Michael Keaton.
Yeah,
Sure. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I agree with you. Macaulay Culkin. Macaulay Culkin was just evil. He was an evil bad guy.
Yeah.
Keaton was a bad guy, definitely, but he was more of an opportunist.
Yeah. Which that's the thing. Like
There was more character.
that's
for
why
me.
I kind of lean more towards
Okay.
Macaulay. But yeah. I mean, but Keaton was great.
It was so to me.
Keaton was more like psychological, and Macaulay Culkin had that too, though, and it was more.
Yeah.
Man, it's tough. They both pulled that shit like with the like the thing Keaton did with the cop.
Right.
Like where it was like, no, he's crazy. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
And like,
with the psychiatrist, right?
yeah, like, well, yeah. And then the kid did that with his parents. Like, it was,
I just,
real...
for me, that rewatching Pacific Heights this season, I was like, man, I need to put this on more often because it's such a solid movie.
Yeah, good flick.
So Keaton,
yeah.
All
Keaton.
right, cool.
Sure.
I need to write Chakotay one, that one. Okay. Number 3, best kill. I bet we both agreed on this one.
Okay.
But what did you nominate?
I really only wrote down one. I mean, there's a couple.
Yeah.
But the guy in Street Trash at the end that takes the air tank to his head.
I knew. Yeah.
That's
I knew we were going to both. I totally agree. I mean,
best death is so like, I mean, you could give it a Cyclops because it was such like heroic, whatever. But like,
sure.
best, I guess best kill. So it's best kill. I would say is that. And
I
really,
agree.
I would say any of the deaths in Street Trash. Trash wins that all day.
Yeah.
Over just about any other movie that we did.
I also had for the ones that my nominees were Bronson, the toilet man in Street Trash, which is I think the first death.
The big fat guy that explodes.
The guy explodes. And then I also had the sheet woman in X-Ray, or where the guy comes down the hallway with the sheet up and just like grabs her, it's just cool looking. And then I had the good son, Macaulay Culkin, because he is killed. The mother she chooses to let go.
Oh, you mean like his when he actually
yeah. Like
she
kills
hardcore.
Him, she kills her own son. But Bronson wins. That
was the best one.
What happened to him right before the missile or the tank gets launched at him? Didn't he also something else happened to him right before that? So it was like a double whammy.
I don't remember. I remember he was holding somebody up to like choke slam him or something. And
yeah. And then it just launches.
Or it could have been. I mean, remember the guy that got tricked into drinking the beer? Like,
yeah.
The guy actively like could have stopped the other people getting it, and he was like, I got to stop and make sure this asshole drinks it first. Like, and then the guy's just the effects on that were just the best.
They were, but Bronson, that was great. That thing blowing through his head was just like,
it was
Jesus
awesome.
Christ. All right, Bronson wins. Best creature. What'd you nominate?
Okay, again, so if we're going off of like character, or if we're going off of just effects, I mean, you give it to Terror Vision or just about anybody in Basket Case 2.
Basket Case 2 movie so much.
But it's a makeup and like it's a creature. Like
Fest.
That's the movie.
I feel like those creatures were just like stick some shit to their face and go with it.
No, they liked it. I mean, they had the guy who was like all teeth. You had the guy. I mean, those were designed. Those were impressive. I also had the Cyclops just because he was just like, he is a creature and he's the best one. Yeah. He's like Chief from He's like Chief from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, but just
Yeah,
like a
one,
badass Cyclops.
with one eye.
Yeah.
I also threw in, for me, the basket case. I did write down a basket case, and it was the baby when she gives birth to the baby,
Oh yeah.
and she's just like, and she's still alive somehow, and she's like, "Oh, baby," and she shoves it back into her stomach, like, "Fuck off right now."
I mean,
Uh,
Leprechaun isn't even crazy, but
I almost put that down, but then I was like, I love Warwick, but another one that stood out was Funhouse. I thought that was a really cool,
yeah.
with the cleft palate and like just the white uh and the teeth. It was just, there was a lot of, I was really surprised with that movie in a lot of ways, but I think the winner, I would agree with your initial reaction, which was TerraVision.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. I think that's like
Yeah.
the like holy crap. You know,
Yeah.
what I mean, like it's just
It's just a cool design. And it's also got a little bit of cuteness in a weird way to it. So they did a really good balancing of creating a character around it. Uh, so TerraVision. Oh, and I'm glad you said that, man, because the guy who did the effects of TerraVision, I didn't realize it was John Carl Blucher, who, this guy, man, when you look up his stuff, he did the effects for Reanimator. He did the effects for Ghoulies, Troll, Friday the 13th, 7, this one that we were just talking about, Nightmare on Elm Street 4, Halloween 6, I believe, Curse of Michael Myers.
Halloween 4 or Nightmare on Elm Street 4 has some badass effects.
Yeah, like that's this guy. And he, along with like another 200 movies, I mean, you'd recognize this guy. But remember, we were talking about Friday the 13th last episode
Yeah.
about how they kept cutting away.
Yeah.
You know, he was talking about this in an interview or a documentary where he was like,
It's in Crystal
yeah,
Lake Nightmares or whatever whatever that document the like 12-hour documentary.
right, right.
Yeah,
And he
it's
was
awesome.
like, I don't know what the heck. Like, we filmed these great deaths, and then they just edited it to cut away, and you don't see any of them. And now they're lost because they were filmed, they were never finished, uh,
Yeah.
quality wise, and they're just gone. So this dude is the real deal. So TerraVision, I'm glad to give that to that. Next one, biggest dickhead. There's a lot of dickheads. A lot
I
of
got
dickheads.
3, and again for different reasons, but yeah,
What do you
what do you
got?
think? Okay, so I got Macaulay Culkin
Yeah,
again.
yeah,
He's a big jerk, man.
yeah,
You know.
yeah.
I got Clint Howard in Ice Cream Man. He's a Oh, I got 4. I got
Okay.
Dr. Giggles, who's also a dickhead. But then I have the detective Lubick from Masters of the Universe. He's
Oh
just
man, that's a good call.
he's such a dick.
Such a dickhead.
He's just like, dude. Like he's just so into like busting these teenagers or finding out what's up that it's like, dude, there's like aliens invading. And he's like,
Yeah.
no, we're going down to the station and you're gonna answer some questions. Like, dude, this isn't on that level anymore. Like,
Right.
yeah, skeleton, like a skeleton guy is like invading Earth, and at the end he
Yeah.
just decides I'm gonna live in
Yeah,
eternity
yeah.
now.
And I love that. He gets like this babe and like a cool robe, and like he gets to sit next to the throne. Yeah.
But what's cool is he still has like he's still charismatic. Like even
Yeah.
like
Hey,
like any
hey.
other movie, you'd be like, what is this guy's problem? But like
Yeah,
the guy is so he reminds me of Michael Rooker, probably because he's just bald, but like
a little bit.
he's got something. I mean, he's the principal in
Yeah.
Back to the Future, but
He's great in everything he does. I'd
yeah,
say,
in that too. Like he's a bad guy in Back to
yeah.
the Future, but he's got that like charisma.
Yeah. I had two that I nominated: Bronson from Street Trash,
Yeah, he's a dickhead.
and then Duke. Yeah, and then Duke again from Repo Man, major dickhead. But I like your pick of Masters of the Universe. What's his, Lubbock? It's Lubbock.
Lubbock, it's Lubbock.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Let's do that.
Detective
Let's do
Lubbock.
Lubbock.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a super dickhead. Uh, that's a good pick. Good call. Good call. Next one is most disturbing movie. So something that we watched, which I know you have a very high tolerance for what is disturbing compared to me.
Sure.
So I wonder if you struggled with this. I'll give you my nominations. It was Street Trash. I mean, there's some disturbing shit in there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Witches of Eastwick. That movie's just fucked up all the way around, but in a weird, in like a Hollywood way, not like in a cheesy B movie like we do. And
Okay.
then Basket Case 2 for that fucking mutant sex scene. Just like get the fuck out of here. So what yeah,
I had Street Trash, Basket Case 2, and I had Good Son again because of like just psychologically,
yeah,
like what would you do, man?
yeah.
If you know what I mean, like if that with that kid, like
Seriously,
but
like
yeah, like Street Trash and Basket Case are more disturbing on like a physical level.
skin
Yeah,
crawling.
Good Son is much more psychological.
Right. You want to do Basket
Or
Case?
or even Videodrome, is
Videodrome
pretty,
had some weird shit, definitely.
yeah, but
Yeah.
nothing just too disturbing.
Videodrome
Um,
had too much like empty space for me. Like Basket Case and Street Trash were just nonstop.
yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
could give you either one of those.
Let's do Basket Case since we both picked those. We both
Okay.
settled on those. All right, cool. Yeah. Messed up. Best surprise. Anything surprised you this season? You were like, yeah, hell yeah. Like I remember you saying Silver Bullet last season. You were like, fucking
Yeah.
A, this movie's great. And you had never seen it.
Yeah, I had three. I mean, I don't actually more like two, but
Yeah.
like, yeah. Q the Winged Serpent was a big surprise because
Right on.
I had been putting it off, being
Yeah.
like, I don't
Yeah.
want to watch this, man. It's the only Q movie that it's got, and it wound up being pretty solid. The other thing was X-Ray. X-Ray really surprised me.
Right on.
Again, the same thing where it was like, we gotta pick an X. I guess this movie's called X-Ray, so we might as well watch. And then it wound up being solid.
Yeah.
I liked Q better.
Yeah.
And then Street Trash wasn't a surprise. I just didn't know anything about it,
Sure.
But yeah, those were my three.
I had Street Trash and X-Ray as well. But then I also had Funhouse, which the reason I was surprised, I think, was because it was a Toby Hooper movie, and I usually don't enjoy his movies.
Mm-hmm.
I don't count Poltergeist as a Toby Hooper movie.
He should.
But and then Happy Birthday to Me was just weird, and I don't know, it just popped in my head. But honestly, man, I could go with Q. I would say either
Yeah, I
Street
mean,
Trash or
it
Q. But
was
Q was great.
yeah, it was really good, man, and it wound up being
Yeah, that cast, those two. Which, speaking of, Richard Roundtree passed away recently. Did you know
yeah,
that?
he did, yeah.
Man, rest in peace. That reminds me, there was something I wanted to mention. I'll mention it at the end, but remind me if you would that there was something I wanted to mention.
Sure.
It had to do with Richard Mole. But yeah, you want to do Q on that?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, cool. Good call. Next one, biggest disappointment. Ooh-wee.
All right, I got what do you got?
So I had Dr. Giggles.
Mm-hmm.
I had been looking forward to that movie my whole life. Damn, what the fuck? Videodrome, another one that to me was just hype, a lot of hype, and it's not a bad movie. It's just whatever. But my pick was Witches of Eastwick. Just what the fuck, man.
So I had similar. I had Witches of Eastwick, Dr. Giggles, and Ice Cream Man. I had Ice Cream Man.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you know what, Ice Cream Man, I know a lot of like the people that love Ice Cream Man that I personally know and that have recommended it to me are weirdos. Like they like weird stuff. So I was expecting it to be, frankly, a lot weirder, a lot, and it was it was kind of a nothing burger if you ask me, that movie.
I agree, but it's also, there was a charm to it. I think it was because of Clint Howard. I don't know.
Yeah, but Dr. Giggles, I just keep going back to like, I liked the kills in Dr. Giggles. Like there was really nothing else to it, but
I guess
I guess I could go with Witches of Eastwick.
Yeah.
I mean,
I know you didn't have the hype that I did, apparently. Maybe it's because
I thought it was gonna be, I will tell you, I thought it was gonna be much better.
Yeah.
I just didn't hate it as much as you did, but I also, I mean, I'll never watch it again.
Yeah.
I take that back. If it was on, if it was 10 years, if it was 20 years ago and I was flipping through channel, it is a perfect Comedy Central movie that, like, if it came on, if you turned on in the middle, you might be like, yeah, all right, I'll finish. I mean, that's where I'm at with it anyway.
Yeah. All right, let's give it a Witches of Eastwick.
Yeah, there you go.
Fucking weird effects at the end. The baby Jack.
The big dragon.
Jack Nicholson. It was so weird. George Miller? Weird. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. Glad I watched. What are you glad you watched?
I got a couple. I only have two, actually.
Okay.
So I've Night of the Comet.
Right.
Which I don't know. Yeah, I think I'd seen and like written off, or like I don't remember, or maybe I had never seen it. I don't remember, but I'd kind of written it off as like, oh, yeah, whatever. I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah.
The other one was Evil Dead 1,
Okay.
because I was one of the dumb people that had seen Evil Dead 1 like, a couple times, and then but really had been like, I loved 2, and I was stupid and thought that, well, you don't need 1 because 2 is basically a remake of 1,
Yeah.
and they whatever, and like, I mean, I honestly, I like 1 the best now. Like,
Really?
it's, yeah, 1's a real horror movie, and I like,
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I like Evil Dead 2, and it's got some scary stuff in it, but it's also got a lot of like comedy in it, and there's
And action. Those
yeah,
two and three are action comedies to me.
man, this is another thing that like really eats at me. By the way, I wanted to talk about this. I have nowhere, we can cut this out if you want. One of my best friends brought up, he watches horror movies all through October. That's his thing. He's like, I don't watch any. He only watches Christmas movies in December. Only watches horror movies, right? And we were having my Halloween party. It was last Saturday, or it was on Saturday. And someone, another friend of mine was Ash, and we were talking about Ash. And this guy is like, I don't know who that is. I'm like, you never heard of it? You never seen Evil Dead? You don't know? And he's like, I've never heard of these movies. And I'm like, man, watch part one. If you like, because and he likes Devil's Rejects, that kind of stuff. I was like,
Yeah.
1 is legitimately one of the best horror movies ever. It's great. It's awesome. Just The Evil Dead. Look up The Evil Dead. And he goes, okay. And he called me a few days later, and I didn't pick up because I think I was at work. Then when I called him back the next day, he was like, did you meet Evil Dead like 1980 or 2013? I was like, 80. 80, man. And
Yeah.
he was like, I watched the 2013 because it was the one that was on the streaming service that I had. Like,
Yeah.
Evil Dead 1 wasn't on anything. So I was like, oh well, maybe this is what he was talking about. And he's like, it wasn't that great. I'm like, yeah, I mean, and it's just the world we live in now, man. That's gonna be happening. That's gonna happen to my kids are gonna go, I heard Willy Wonka's great, and they're gonna pull up 20 of these garbage remakes that they keep doing.
That's
because
too
they
bad.
it's annoying. It's one thing when they keep making them, but like when they have the audacity to call like Ghostbusters.
Oh, here it is.
I
Here
mean,
it is.
I mean,
season
just
finale.
Evil Dead, or I mean, any of these. I mean, what's
No, you're right. You're not wrong, man. And that's first of all, who's never heard of Evil Dead? But I don't know about this friend.
I mean,
but
it is. I wouldn't say it's not niche if you care about this kind of stuff. Then yeah, but like,
yeah,
the average person out there does not know what Evil Dead is.
But also when you look, if your task is to look up the Evil Dead and watch it, and you see one that says 1980 and 2013, wouldn't my brain would automatically go, I'm going to watch the first one, not the remake.
Sure,
I don't
but
know.
but also like one of them was on, was available, and the other one wasn't.
Yeah.
So it was like,
I mean,
and
that remake.
He did call me to make sure, and I would have told him, and he was like, it was all right, I guess, but the whole time I was like, what was this? And I'm like, honestly, out of the worst one. I mean, I shouldn't say that, because it's at least it's a horror movie.
Yeah,
like it's not Army of Darkness, but like, if I would have rather he watch Evil Dead Rise than
we liked Evil Dead Rise.
I loved Evil Dead. I thought it was great.
The 2013 one, it's a good movie. But if you're trying to watch Evil Dead, it's no Evil Dead. So I hope he goes back and watches that.
Well, that's the other thing. I said, you got a couple days, watch and I almost don't want him to, because now there aren't a lot of similarities besides that it's in a cabin.
Yeah.
I mean, and then there's Deadites, and and they do some stuff
completely different.
Yeah, it's a completely different movie besides like very little things, but still it will be like the new one will be fresh in his brain. I almost want to be like, just save it and watch it next year.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's such a contrast. I think he could watch it and be like, oh wow, this is totally different. I don't know if he'd like it or not, but who knows? All right. So what was that? That was
that was my glad I watched. What were you glad you watched?
Glad I watched. I had a few. Street Trash, Q, like you said, finally got to it. Awesome. I'm glad I watched Of Unknown Origins. Like,
had you never seen it?
No, and it's a weird movie, and it's like,
I'm glad I watched it too, but like
it's not great. It's not a great movie, but Peter Weller's always solid.
Oh yeah, I mean it's cool it's Rat Jaws. is what it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah,
It's Jaws, it's Jaws with rats.
right.
Yeah.
I'm glad I watched The Good Son after all these years. Basket Case 2, even though I hated it. But I think my winner is Q. To finally just be like, all right, I'm gonna watch this movie, and I watched it, and it was great. What was
Yeah.
your final pick on that?
Evil Dead. I mean, I
Evil
also
Dead.
had
Okay.
Night of the Comet, but yeah, Evil Dead.
Night of the Comet. Yeah, that's another good one.
And I'd seen Evil Dead. Like Night of the Comet, I was like, oh, wow, what a great, you know.
I'll give it Evil Dead just because like whenever it had been so long since I watched it, it was like, and watching it with a critical mind, it was cool to pick out some things and see some stuff that I hadn't seen before. So let's do that. Evil Dead. All right, we're down to our last two, man. Worst movie that we watched this season. What you got? There's a couple. Man, there's some.
I got two. Yeah, it really only got one.
Really? Okay.
I mean, I got Jack Frost too. It's probably
Yeah,
the worst
yeah,
one.
yeah.
That's it. I had Ice Cream Man, but like,
I think you're forgetting about one. I think you're forgetting. I'm gonna refresh your brain. You ready?
Yeah.
So Jack Frost 2, definitely. Witches of Eastwick, definitely. And Urban Legend Final Cut.
Oh God, I didn't write that one down when I was because I rewrote down all the guy. I totally forgot Urban Legend Final Cut.
Yeah.
I
But you know what?
I didn't even consider that in any of these.
But you know what? I would put. I mean, it was trash, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was.
Yeah.
It not only was it trash, it was totally forgettable, and it was
Yeah.
like.
Exactly. You just forgot about it. But
But Jack Frost 2, I remember. Jack Frost 2, I remember that it sucked. But I mean, that's because I mean, the bad guy's a giant snowman. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, I remember shit from Jack Frost 1 because Jack Frost, it was it wasn't a perfect movie, but it was clever. It stuck in my brain. And Jack Frost 2 was like, man, dude,
Yeah.
why?
Yeah. See, but Urban Legend Final Cut, complete trash, forgettable trash. But if it was on and during the day and I was working, I might put it on and just leave it on and see whatever. Jack Frost 2, hands down.
Would you turn it off? Yeah.
Jack Frost 2, I would never ever put my eyes on again. Ever. I think it's just get the fuck out of here. I think it's garbage.
Yeah. I mean,
Jack Frost?
Jack Frost 2, yeah.
All right. Yeah, worst movie of the
What a downgrade from and both of them are downgrades from better movies, but
right.
Like, I would say Jack Frost 2 is because at least Urban Legend 1 wasn't great. I mean,
it's got your boy Gerard Leto, man.
Yeah. Oh God, I fucking hate it. But like, but like, man, Urban Legend had that stupid thing with the twin brothers and
yeah.
But
Urban Legend did have the Final Cut. It had that awesome moon mask, man. That moon mask that he wore in one scene, and it should have been the mask that the killer wore the entire movie. And for that, I'll look at the TV and go, oh shit, there's that scene, and be like, that's cool, and then walk away. So Jack Frost 2, definitely.
Yeah, I give it Jack Frost 2.
All right, this is the one.
I will say I probably enjoyed watching Jack Frost 2 more than the other one, but it is the worst movie. It's not good.
Yeah. All right, man. This is it right here. The best movie of season 3. What did we see that was amazing?
I've got Night of the Comet. I've got Evil Dead. I've got I mean those are. I've got Street Trash.
Yeah.
But I think those are the 3 I enjoyed the most. But
I think
I could honestly give it to. I would say Night of the Comet. I mean, Evil Dead I think is the best movie. Like honestly, for real, Evil Dead's the best. But I would say, I mean, Night of the Comet is probably.
Yeah, Street Trash, X-Ray, Crawl, all great movies. I had Evil Dead in there as well because it is the best.
It
made movie. Clue is a great movie.
Yeah. It's tough when you have these on there. It's like, well, yeah, but those are real movies. Like,
right.
Like
for me though, it was tell me the ones that you wrote down again.
Night of the Comet and Evil Dead.
Oh, Night of the Comet.
Yeah.
I'd go with Night of the Comet, but for me, I picked Pacific Heights. I just
really
I love Michael Keaton so much.
I really liked the movie, and it was I only because maybe it's because I didn't consider it really a horror movie. It was more like a thriller, but like which is fine.
But neither is youngster Sherlock Holmes. So.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm not saying that was
Clue.
that was great either. Yeah, I wouldn't say, but I would go Night of the Comet, but like, yeah, but I like Pacific
I'd go
Heights,
Night of the Comet.
but
I'd go Night
best
of the
movie
Comet.
seems like big. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess we can't go like every
Like
season.
I remember we were gushing over Night of the Comet, how great it
Yeah,
was.
because it is, and
You know,
it's always been a favorite of mine. But like every season, we're gonna watch a movie that's like that's a legit, like amazing movie, and it doesn't mean I had seen Evil Dead several times before. It's always in my, you know, in my
yeah,
life because it's just great. So I'd take Night of the Comet because that's one that I don't think enough people know about as being like, you know, watch this movie. It's good. It's really good. And that was I always like when we watch a movie and you're pleasantly surprised by it,
yeah.
you know?
It's
Uh
fun that my in-laws that was, I think it was the first movie they saw, or it might not have been the first movie they saw, but it was definitely they saw it when they were dating,
what?
in theater, Night of the Comet.
Oh, really?
And like it's been a running joke for 20, like that it was the worst movie they ever fucking saw.
Really?
It was so bad.
Well, didn't
Uh,
you say who's the woman that oh, your mom. Your mom doesn't like horror
my
movies?
mom doesn't really like movies,
Okay.
period.
Or movies at all. Okay.
Yeah, she's got like three she really really likes, but like
That's so strange. Isn't that
Now and
strange?
Then, and The Trouble with Angels, and I don't know. She probably like Sister Act. I don't know. I shouldn't say she doesn't like movies, but she definitely doesn't. She doesn't enjoy
Uh,
watching movies.
yeah, I'd give it a Night of the Comet. I'd agree with you there. Is that good?
Yeah,
Night of the Comet.
yeah, I'm fucking A. Yeah,
All right, man. That's a list. I mean, it was a bizarre season
it was a weird
because
season, man.
we were
It was
running out of movies for certain letters, and we had to like, you know, do some fancy footwork to find something. So for next season,
took a lot of chances this season too.
we did.
We probably shouldn't have.
No, I'm glad we did. I'm glad, man, because we're watching stuff that we, you know, normally wouldn't. Of Unknown Origins stands out to me as like we would never normally we wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, and like Street Trash, I probably could have picked a different S, but
Street Trash is it's so good. It's like, man, it's just bizarre. But Night of the Comet is like it's got a little bit of everything, and the two chicks are so they work so well together. Chakotay, it's
we should say Robert Beltran. We've been calling him Chakotay all night, but his actual name is Robert Beltran. But
you're just saying that because you want to make sure he gets the credit for Star Trek that like as an actor, because if you're in Star Trek, you're like an important, like
you're more
like,
well respected.
You've really made it.
He's awesome.
In Star Trek. Yeah.
He yeah. I don't know if I mentioned this before. He took them for all they were worth, man. He went back every year and like basically like did the move where if you want to get out of like a project, the move is to come back and give a giant number. Like I want $2 million more.
Yeah.
And thinking like, well, they'll fire me because, you know, and then I'm out of the project.
Yeah.
And every time they were like, yeah, all right, no problem. And they just and he was on the show all 7 years. They never killed him off. He never left the show.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And they just and he got a pay bump every single season.
That's hilarious.
And he's barely in the show. I mean,
I
he's in the ensemble. He's the first officer of the ship, but
that's
I would
awesome.
say, yeah.
For some reason, whenever I do image searches for Star Trek Next Gen or whatever it is he's on, he always comes up. Like he always pops up.
I mean, he's the man. He's awesome.
Yeah,
he's supposed to be Indian, but he's supposed to be Native American, but he's Mexican.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe we'll watch one of those for Patreon.
I would love to watch a Voyager. I got just the episode. Oh, I got one.
Get the fuck out of here.
Voyager is underrated. It really is. Voyager is awesome.
All right, Night of the Comet, folks. Best movie that we watched. Next season we're gonna switch things up. We got some new things coming for you. Before we sign off though, I wanted to tell you, have you ever like Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things was a movie that I knew from my childhood, forgot the name of and lost it for like 30 years.
Yeah.
And came back around. Has that ever happened to you?
Yeah, I was thinking about it today. I was thinking about it literally right before recording because I was like, I think that's why you like that's the only reason you could like that.
Oh, did I like it that much?
Yeah, there was this happened to me like a couple months ago.
Yeah.
There was this weird anime before I knew what anime was. It was just a Japanese cartoon
Yeah.
that my grandmother had on tape that I don't know and I watched it 1,000 times about I don't know, it was about like a weird unicorn person that turned people into like wooden toys. It was super weird. And I watched it a bunch, but I didn't remember the title.
Yeah.
And then I like got determined one day and like typed that in. It's just funny. I talked to Wolfgang, who knows about anime.
Yeah.
He's like, that actually describes a lot of anime. But when I found it, I watched the whole thing and like enjoyed it, but was like, this isn't good. Like I knew this is this is not good. This is weird and like, and I'm like, but it's just setting off things in my brain that like, oh my God, I remember that. It's giving me dopamine hits. And I really think that must be what happened.
That's called nostalgia, man.
No, yeah, maybe. I think it's on like a subliminal level.
The other thing, this isn't about children shouldn't play with dead things, but the other thing about that movie is that it's the movie that Charlie Brewster's watching in Fright Night, which is how I rediscovered it.
Right.
But today finally I've been looking for this one movie for 30 plus years. I thought it was called Excalibur, and it's not the Sean Connery one. It's not any of the ones that everybody always says, and it's not called Excalibur, but there's a weapon in it, or somebody calls one of the characters Excalibur or something like that. But the movie is called The Dungeon Master from 1984. And I found it today when I was looking up TerraVision, and John Carl Blucher, the effects guy, he worked on this movie and it was in his list. And I was like, what is that? Clicked on it, watched the trailer on YouTube, and it's the fucking movie I've been looking for all these years. It's called The Dungeon Master. It's got Richard Mall as like the villain, and it's got some unknown dude as the hero. But it's the thing I remembered was it's like this futuristic sort of sword and sandal sorcery thing going on. And the hero has like a thing on his wrist where he types buttons and goes to different dimensions and whatever. And I was just like watching this trailer. I was like, fucking A, I just found it finally. So I'm going to watch it. It's on Tubi. It's called The Dungeon Master. I've been looking for it for 30 years. And it looks awesome and terrible. And it's like got lots of rotoscoping in it and stop animation, and
sounds up your alley, man.
Yeah, dude, I can't wait. I cannot wait. So I wanted to share that at the beginning of the show, but I forgot.
Because of Richard Mall passed away.
Passed away.
Wasn't he in House 2? He was
in House 1. He's the villain.
House 1 where he's the
soldier from
Vietnam. He's like the soldier
zombie. Night Court. Yeah. We could do a whole other show about the folks that have passed away, but he was awesome, man. He was real cool. Richard Roundtree from Q, some of the folks that we've been in the movies we watched, but man, it was a good season. It was a weird season, but it was good. Are you satisfied on it? You got anything else to say about it?
No. Yeah. Weird season for sure.
Yeah.
But saw a lot of stuff that, I'm glad, I wouldn't have never seen otherwise. So,
right. Right.
Yeah.
And next season will be just another explosion of insanity, I'm sure. Some of the stuff to look forward to, we're going to work some heavy hitters into our list. We're going to try to get some interviews going with some folks that you will definitely recognize. So we got a lot of planning to do. We got some gimmicks up our sleeve. We got just some fresheners, some air fresheners for the show. So thank you so much to everybody that listened, that shared the podcast, that joined the Patreon, that watched any of the movies that we talked about that you had never heard of. That's pretty cool. And like you said, Kevin, like there's stuff on here that I had either been waiting to see or had never heard of and watched and enjoyed. So, and that's with every season that we've done. It's always a blast. And I guess that's about it. You good?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, that was good. Yeah, good season.
Good season. All right. What's your shirt? And what?
Just as End of the Road.
Oh, End of the Road. The chicken. I'm gonna eat some chicken in a minute.
Yep.
All right, folks. Death by Podcast, episode 94 in the books. Season 3 finale, best and worst. Again, we've got more categories on the Patreon if you want to check them out and see more of this nonsense. Social media, at Death by Podcast, everywhere. All right? It's just everywhere. And that's about it. I'm your host, Adam. It's your other host,
Kevin.
It's Miller time. Kevin?
Shut the fuck up.
James, it's always a pleasure, man. Thanks for being on the show. What wouldn't it be crazy if we get James Woods to talk with us?
He's the man.
He's a psychopath.
I love him. He's one of my favorite followers on Twitter.
I bet he is. All right, folks, we're out of here. Enjoy yourselves. Be safe. We'll be back in about a week or two with season 4, episode 1. Death by Podcast, the best podcast out there. Thanks for listening. We'll see you later. Adios.